Welcome to the first ever North Star Sports Talk. I'm your host, Carter. This is your other host,
Alden.
Today, what we're going to talk about is the NFL playoffs, and we're going to give our predictions. And obviously, we're North Star Sports, so we're going to talk about specifically the Rams and the Vikings matchup.
I'm gonna break that down for you guys.
All right, here we go. First game of the playoffs, Chargers-Texans. I'm gonna be honest with you. I got the Chargers the whole way.
The Chargers?
I not the whole way, but over the Texans.
Over the Texans for sure.
100%.
Yeah, CJ Stroud's been in a slump this year, just kind of sophomore slump.
And it's like, they played the Ravens. That's another playoff team. You score 2 points against the Ravens.
Yeah.
And it's a safety, so your offense literally did nothing.
Your offense did nothing.
I don't think that this year's Texans are gonna make it very deep into the playoffs. I just don't think that's even a possibility at this point.
Plus, you got Jim Harbaugh on the sidelines for the Chargers.
What were the Chargers last year? I don't even remember.
Every single team that he goes to, he instantly elevates. When he went to Michigan, he added how many wins did he add that first year?
I wish I could tell you. It was a lot.
It was a big jump. It was a big jump.
I wish I could tell you, but yeah, no. Chargers last year 5-12. You come on to this year 11-6. You almost flipped your record.
Yeah.
So, I don't think that Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers have any issues running through the Texans.
No.
I'm a little bit nervous about Justin Herbert. I'm still not sold on him yet.
No.
So
he reminds me of a lesser version of another Chargers quarterback, Phillip Rivers. All big body, talented, big arm. Can't really do much playoffs. So
yeah, I think that's enough on them. I think the
Yeah.
Chargers handle the Texans. I don't think it's even close. Score prediction for me would probably be, I'm gonna say 24-10.
I was thinking 24-17.
Yeah, I don't. Even that's too close for me.
I think Harbaugh's defense will shut it down.
We move on to the next game, Steelers Ravens. I think we both already know.
Yeah,
Ravens.
It's Ravens, but Lamar historically has struggled against Tomlin's Steelers.
And hey, I love to be a good team hater, so I would love to see the Baltimore Ravens lose this game.
Yeah, I know you love watching good teams fall.
I would love to see the Ravens get upset.
Yeah.
But I think that the Ravens will
I think a lot of Steelers fans, for right or for wrong, are ready for maybe a new era with Tomlin out. I was always the big, you have to move on from Kirk Cousins because you know the ceiling, and I get it. They know the ceiling over there, and they've had much more time with Tomlin to know that ceiling. But Tomlin always makes his teams overperform. Cousins kind of just gave you a floor. He never gave you the ability to really overperform, and that's why I think it's different. And he's such a culture builder too. Very cliche, but he's a culture builder. A team like Pittsburgh needs that with how many divas he brings in and tries to fix. Tomlin's the right guy for there. And I don't think the Roonies are going to want to move off of him, knowing the stability and the culture that he brings. And he always gives the Ravens fits. So,
bro,
I think it's a much closer game than a lot of people realize.
Bro hasn't had a losing season.
Exactly.
Why would you move on from that?
It's the level of consistency that you need for a historically great team that hasn't had a top 5 pick since they've drafted Terry Bradshaw.
Yeah.
Who's needing to retire from Fox.
And my hot take for this game, start Justin Fields.
I don't hate it.
Period.
I do not hate it.
Start Justin Fields, and
I think this is Wilson's last chance.
Yeah, I don't even think he should have another chance. I think that this should be his last game. Should have been it.
Really?
I don't think that he should play that.
I don't know. He has the second most wins for a starting quarterback in the playoffs, and that's active in the NFL.
And when were those wins?
Fair enough.
When were those
Fair
wins?
enough.
Like, you saw him in Denver, didn't do great.
That's because he clashed so much with Sean Payton.
That's fair.
And Sean Payton, butthole lips, he's an ass. I can't stand him. And speaking of the Broncos, the only reason Bo Nix is any good at all is because he is Drew Brees Diet Zero Light. That's why Sean Payton can work with him.
Speaking of the Broncos,
Exactly.
let's finish off this
AFC
side.
slate.
Bills, Broncos, Bills.
Bills.
No question.
Yeah.
I don't even think we have to talk about
No.
it. It's going to be the Bills.
Yeah.
Josh Allen is a freak of nature.
He's going to run circles around
He's-
the Broncos.
Josh Allen is the only reason that anyone knows about Wyoming football.
Exactly.
And I'm very willing to say that.
Yeah.
But-
Broncos defense, very, very good. They are good. They're well coached. It's the MVP.
And you guys
It's
might
the MVP.
You guys might say, "Oh, they're just picking like the spread every single time."
We're going chalk.
You know what? The spread's right. All right.
It's set like that for a reason.
These specific matchups, all three of them, except for the Ravens Steelers, I don't see any.
I don't see too much of a competition.
I don't
no.
see any of the AFC side for the first round being a competition.
The AFC is extremely top heavy.
Yeah.
The AFC is so top heavy, whereas the NFC, you had. What are the Packers? What, 10-7, 11-6?
Yep.
They're the 7 seed.
10-7 because they lost to the Bears.
The Bears.
At home. Packers fans, what you gonna do about that
Yeah.
one? You got your copium somewhere, I'm sure, but you better start taking it because I'm gonna move on to the Eagles Packers. And sorry, Packers. One, Jordan Love is still questionable for that game.
Yeah.
If
That was, yeah.
if Jordan Love doesn't play, you saw what you got with Malik Willis last week.
Listen,
and it's not gonna be close.
LaFleur's a great coach, and he did well. Malik Willis is 2-0 as a starter this year. There's a reason the Titans moved on so quickly from him. I loved Malik Willis in that draft class. I thought he was the quarterback one. Clearly it was Purdy, but I thought he was the quarterback one. The talent and the upside was there. And LaFleur can tap into that, but he can't win a playoff game with that.
And I even say even if Jalen Hurts doesn't play that game,
No,
It doesn't
no, no.
I don't think it matters.
No.
I think Kenny Pickett is better than Malik Willis.
No, I don't. I
do.
know he was drafted ahead of him. I don't think so.
Hot take for this game. Malik Willis is nowhere. I do think Kenny Pickett is a much better quarterback than Malik Willis is, and because I look at it this way. All right, we got our bottom teams. We got like the Bears, the Titans, the
Browns,
Patriots,
Giants,
and the Giants. And look at what Kenny Pickett did against the Giants versus what Malik Willis did
Did you
against
not
the Bears.
see him have the ball throw him?
Okay, that's one play.
Okay.
I'll take that.
You want my hot take for this game?
If Jalen Hurts doesn't play, the Packers win?
No. I think if Jordan Love plays, and even if Jalen Hurts plays, there is a very real chance the Packers upset the Eagles.
I don't hate that take. I don't even think
Have you seen the clown show that Sirianni runs over there? That thing is a house of cards. It has been wobbling and swaying all year, and it just takes one. It just takes one for the house of cards to come collapsing
He
in.
saved the franchise. He shaved his head.
Oh my god!
He saved the franchise.
No,
They
no.
didn't. Have they lost? They lost what, one game?
He looks
after
like the
he
kid
shaved
from
his head?
Elf. He looks like the kid from Elf.
They lost one game after he shaved his head.
Yeah, I still think that if it doesn't happen this year, it's going to happen next year, where that organization is going to crumble because of the way Sirianni is just an unlikable punk.
Yeah.
And that's honestly the best way
Even
to
his
describe
fans,
him.
his fans don't like
Exactly. He's
Like-
chirping his own fans.
Yeah.
Like, you can't run an organization like that.
I just don't.
It's not like there are very few like true culture builders, because culture builders, they don't exactly have a shelf life in the NFL because they keep that energy throughout there. It's not just one specific scheme that the NFL shortly figures out. and it's the end of your career as a head coach or whatever.
I do think this game is a 1-point game.
I do think it's a very
one
close
score.
game.
I'll say one
score for sure.
Because 1 point's crazy.
I think,
but I mean, you look at Sirianni too, and it's like
he wins. He wins.
I'll give him that. Jalen Hurts was out for this game, but you let the Commanders make a major comeback.
Yeah.
Like
no. Yeah.
And I don't want to see the Packers win either.
I don't either.
That, you know?
But unfortunately, I think it's very close to a 50. It's almost a coin toss game because of the way he's probably prepping that team for this game.
My favorite thing to do is watch Tom Grassi's stream after the Packers lose. It's my favorite thing to do. Now, Tom Grassi, I still love you. Don't get me wrong. Like
they're entertaining. They're very entertaining.
One of my favorite sports streamers. Probably my favorite, if I'm being honest. But I would love to see the Packers lose.
I mean, I would love to see the Packers lose.
I don't think the Packers are as good as their record says they are. So,
no, they haven't beaten a true contender. No. However,
almost beat the Lions.
Almost beat the Lions. I mean,
almost beat the Lions. We couldn't do it. Yeah. Well, we almost beat the Lions.
We almost beat the Lions that one time. But I just I'll give you Sirianni. He just wins. He finds a way to do it. But that's going to come to an end when the locker room turns on him. And I don't know if it happens. I don't know if it happens this week. I don't know if it happens in this playoffs. I don't know if it happens next year. But mark my words, it will happen.
I think the locker room has already partially turned on him.
It has, exactly. He's fighting with Jalen Carter and his own coaches.
Yeah. No.
It will fall.
This game is at
and it will be glorious.
This game is at -4.5, and I think it should be at -4.5. I think that's a good one.
I think the spread should be closer.
Maybe. I think that there's one game where the spread is very close, and we'll get to that game. We'll cover that game quite intensely. That I think that the spread should be a little bit more than it is, and I understand why it's not. But we'll get to that later.
We understand.
We're gonna move on to the Buccaneers and the Commanders.
Oh, that's the game of the week. That's the game of the week, and you know it.
I don't want to say it out loud, but it is the game of the week.
It's the game of the week.
It's gonna be a good game. I got Bucks. I got Bucks too. I don't think that Jaden Daniels has enough experience.
Listen, Jaden Daniels, Arizona State, LSU, never really played in a big major bowl game, playoffs, nothing like that. I think he's going to be a great quarterback, barring, I hate to say it, an RG3 fall. Running mobile quarterback.
I think
for the Washington
I'm going to take off
team.
I'm going to take off that though, because I think that when RG3 was good, it was a different game.
It was a different game.
It was easier for you to get injured. And we're in a point in time where the NFL is a mobile quarterback league.
It is.
Teams that have mobile quarterbacks go further. Like the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, he's not fast, but he's a mobile quarterback.
He can scramble. He can get you yards when you need them.
CJ Stroud, not a mobile quarterback, but
he'll get you yards.
Get around. Justin Herbert,
he's a big body though, and he can get you yards.
Lamar Jackson.
Okay.
Very
different game for sure.
I think that.
But you look at the statures of those guys, and you look at Jaden Daniels.
I think they're the same.
He's tall, but he's lanky. The way he runs, he tries to run through a guy. Those guys get the yards and they get out of bounds.
I think Lamar Jackson and Jaden Daniels are similar in statures. Let's
look it up.
Let's take a look at this.
Look it up.
Let's take a look at this. All right. We got our stats. Alden may be right a little bit.
Jaden Daniels, 6'4", 210.
Lamar Jackson,
6'2", 215. Pure muscle, will run through you.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's kind of like Josh Allen in that way. He can run through him. Jaden Daniels, you saw the hits he took in college. And that works in college.
I didn't.
Okay,
Exactly.
he took some bad hits in college. And let me tell you, the NFL, bigger, faster, stronger. Those hits, they're going to get you. They're going to catch up to you. And listen, Washington been through so much. I mean, first and foremost, had to deal with Kirk Cousins. But seriously,
Yeah, the Falcons are in the playoffs, right?
oh,
He's still a starting quarterback, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
here we are working.
What about Sam Darnold?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, let's not talk about
Washington's been through a lot. They deserve something good. Dan Quinn. Never thought I'd say this. Looking to be a good coach. But I mean,
that. You know,
if he keeps that up and he doesn't learn to take the yards and not force himself to go further, I think he'll be great. But I would hate to see an injury like that to such an electric player.
I said Bucks here, right?
Yeah, I said Bucks. Bucks.
Yeah,
I do think Baker almost beat the Lions last year in the playoffs. Much more established, much more mature now. He's the quarterback that Tampa Bay deserves. Such great dude, electric, love him. Just gunslinger. It's the best kind of football to watch.
Yeah, and you know,
It's the game. It's the game of the weekend.
the Browns made a mistake.
They absolutely
They made a
did.
mistake. You want Deshaun Watson? Go for it.
You cut him after he played an entire season with you with a bum shoulder, torn up to shreds.
And they did good that season. They didn't
they didn't tank or anything, but they were respectable, which Cleveland desperately needed.
All right. That brings us to my game of the week.
Our game.
Vikings Rams. Spread set at -1 for the Vikings.
Oh, it shifted down to -1 now.
-1, and I think that has a lot to do with Sam Darnold being a bum last week.
Okay.
He was. You can't deny
The lights were too bright.
that Sam Darnold
He looked
is
jittery.
not a clutch player, right? From what I've seen, I can't say that because it's one game.
It's one game.
It's one
And look at how
game.
many fourth quarter comebacks he had this year.
It's one game. But the clutch
It's an O'Connell
factor
staple.
is
It's more of an O'Connell thing
You have-
than a Sam Darnold thing.
Sam Darnold. We'll get into this in another video. But Sam Darnold had Jordan Addison wide fucking open, and doesn't even throw it to him. And it pisses me off. And like I said, well,
There is
for
no
another video.
excuse
That's
for that
another
play.
video.
That was schemed for Addison to be wide open, to walk into the end zone. And he holds... That's the thing with the Lions, Aaron Glenn, perfect game plan. He knows Darnold holds onto the ball longer than a quarterback that he can move. He can get you yards. He's not Lamar. He's not Josh Allen. He shouldn't be holding the ball that long. Perfect game plan. And typically he had done... He was the best in the league against the blitz. Couldn't do it when the lights were bright. And Jared Goff, I'm sorry, you cannot blitz him. If you are the Vikings, if you win and the Bucks and the Eagles win, you cannot blitz him. He dices up blitzes, and you saw that. You cannot be blitzing against Jared Goff.
Saw the tape move, so I got scared for a second.
Okay.
Yeah, be honest with you, I got Rams.
Really?
I have the Rams for this game. It hurts me to say this.
Sean McVay,
As a
Matt
metaphor.
Stafford.
It's just
It is eerily
This is-
similar to the
this is-
two-game skid earlier in the season.
I'm taking
Lions then Rams.
I'm taking the Rams, and I'll stick with that. But if I'm watching that game and we have a good first quarter, the Vikings win. Because second half, you look at every single game that the Vikings have played, and they let up the defense lets up way too
They
many
go into
points
shell mode, yes.
in the second half, like every single time. The Packers Vikings home game. We were there.
We were there.
What was the score at halftime? Like 27-10, not 27-10, 17 to something?
What was that? But yeah, you were up 24-10 at one point.
This one, right? Yeah, this game.
29.
Yeah. You're up 13-3 at
13 to
halftime.
3.
Then you give up 7 in the third, but you put up 14. Good. Fourth quarter, offense, where you at? 0 points. We let up 15. Granted, 15 because...
It was garbage time, and Jordan Love is a garbage time merchant. You heard it here first. Not first, but we're going to reiterate it.
And if I'm being honest, too, Aaron Jones didn't have a great game.
Well, he was hurt that second half.
Yeah, fair.
He was hurt.
But we didn't run the ball that much. We had what?
Yeah. When the game was on the line, we were checking it down to Cam Akers and C.J. Ham. And I get it. O'Connell doesn't feel like he can trust the run game. But that's why you need to get a running back in this draft class. This is one of the deepest running back classes that we have ever seen. You can get a guy in round 3, 4, 5 that will be an everyday starter for this team. And if not, you can re-sign Aaron Jones and just have a platoon, 1A, 1B.
Yeah, and I think something that they need to do more too that they did not do last game was, if I'm correct, which I pretty much am.
Okay.
Throw the ball to Jalen Naylor.
Teams are leaving him wide open. They are putting 2, 3, 4 guys on Jefferson. They're putting 2 guys on Addison. That leaves Naylor wide open. And I get it. He has one of the highest drop rates in the league. But if he's wide open, there's no reason not to throw it to him. You can have Addison going out, deep threat. Jefferson work in the middle of the field. Hawkinson and Aaron Jones as safety blankets. But you need to be sending streaks for Addison. If he's wide open, he's got one guy on him.
Well,
his game speed is incredible. He's going to blow by the guy.
And the other thing is, too, is the one time Sam Darnold threw to Jordan Addison last game once. In the red zone, the time he should not have thrown the ball.
Exactly.
He had Jalen Naylor going over the top, wide open. And it's like, if he can't make those plays, that's why I truthfully think, I don't think he's going to have a good game against the Rams. I think it's going to be the same exact thing that we saw against the Lions, and he's just going to be...
That Lions defense, I know banged up. It has Aaron Glenn, and there's no accounting for a head coach. He's going to be a head coach next year.
I think he is... The famous quote when he played with the Jets, he's seeing ghosts.
He was seeing ghosts.
Like, obviously, he didn't throw any interceptions.
If any of you have heard the legend of the Josh Freeman Monday night game, statistically, Sam Darnold was worse than Freeman in that game. And that is a legendarily bad game that is talked about not just by Vikings fans, but all around the league as one of the worst quarterback performances of all time.
Yeah.
Statistically worse. I have the Vikings in this game, though. I think if you saw the Brian Flores quote earlier this week, he didn't know that Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua were going to be in that game against the Rams at SoFi, which, if you're a team looking to hire a coach out there,
do not hire Brian Flores.
Don't hire Brian Flores. Underprepared. He's terrible. Underprepared.
He's a terrible.
God. He can't scheme one of the 2 best receivers in the league.
No, he can't.
But I think knowing that those 2 are going to be in the game for sure, that helps a lot. You can prepare for that, but also, like, I get it. It's Sean McVay, won a Super Bowl, been to multiple, and it's Matthew Stafford, won a Super Bowl with McVay.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that Super Bowl run though, because it's like,
I don't know.
Cupcake schedule.
It was a little bit of a cupcake schedule. I'm not gonna lie.
Who they beat in the? Was it the Chiefs?
No, it was the Bengals.
The Bengals.
Yeah.
Oh, Joe Burrow.
Okay, Joe Burrow, top 4 quarterback in the league.
Yeah, all right, buddy. Slow your roll.
Okay.
Josh Allen's above him. Patrick Mahomes is above him. Lamar's above him. I'm trying to even think of court.
No one else. There's no one else above him, and you know it.
This year, Sam Darnold could be above him.
No. Joe Burrow's playing at an MVP level. If they made the playoffs, Joe Burrow MVP for sure.
He had a good
had him on fantasy.
He had a great season.
He did have a great season. It was great. He was playing from behind all the time. That defense was awful. He was just throwing bombs. That's why. Hear me out. Listen, I know Vikings fans not the biggest fans of Jamar Chase because there's always a competition between those two LSU receivers. A little bit of a Mickey Mouse triple crown. Look at Cooper Kupp's. What'd they do? They won the Super Bowl. They weren't playing from behind too much, and he earned that triple crown doing that.
And I'll end the argument here that Justin Jefferson is the best LSU wide receiver, best wide receiver to come out of LSU.
He's the best receiver in the league.
He is top. And anyone that wants to deny that, he needs two more 1,500 yard seasons to have the most in a career.
And it's year 5. If you want to argue any other point, I have to
fact check myself on that because I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's 2.
If you want any other argument on how he is not the number 1 receiver in the league, look at how they talk about how they prepare for Jefferson versus the rest of the receivers in the league. It is so different. Mentally, it is just draining and taxing. And I know that Amik Robertson that the Lions picked up off of waivers. They did that solely because of Jefferson, because they played since high school. They've played against each other since high school. That was the only reason that... And granted, he did a pretty good job of shutting him down. But they're also playing too high safety almost the entire game. You're putting at least 2 to 3 guys on Jefferson every known passing down. Like, that is absolutely ridiculous. No, very, very few other receivers garner that kind of constant special attention. I know Jamar Chase does at points.
But not as much.
Not as much. It is not all game long. It is not allowing T. Higgins to go bonkers consistently for weeks. Addison had his best year this year. Granted, it's only his second year. But he had a wide receiver 1 type season, while Justin Jefferson is putting up those ridiculous of numbers while getting that kind of attention. No other player has that kind of impact in the entire league.
Yeah, I mean, what? How many? Do we know how many yards Justin had this year?
He had over 1,500.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks for that crucial bit of information. But
happy to help.
Jamar Chase had 1708. Like, cool. Who do you play?
The AFC North. Yeah, we played the NFC North.
We played the NFC North.
The NFC North
has 3 teams over 10 wins. Or at 10
It's the best division of all time. It's the best division of all time. This year, the 2024 NFC North.
Yeah, no. The NFC North is not, it doesn't compare right now to any of the other ones because you have 2 teams over at 14 wins or above.
Exactly.
That the first time that's ever happened. Granted, 17 games instead of 16, but still, you never ever had another team that had 14 wins or 2 teams that have 14 or more wins.
Exactly.
So what is he at? 1533 is what Jefferson was at for. Yeah. And we played team,
I think end of season total, he'll probably end with a bit more because one guy's in the playoffs and one guy isn't.
Yeah. And we played teams like the Lions, the Packers. I would say the Seahawks, but their secondary is not super good.
Texans.
The Texans, yes.
The Niners when they were fully loaded before all the injuries happened, week 2.
They had like a couple, but they
weren't. It was just McCaffrey that was out that game.
And we played the Packers and the Lions twice.
And the Rams.
And we played the Rams. Like,
exactly.
What was and the Bears? You can say, oh, you guys played the Bears and he only put up 27 yards. Okay, how many did Addison have that game?
How many did Hawkinson have? How many did Addison have? How many yards did Aaron Jones have?
And we know
total yards.
He even said it himself. He's okay if those.
He's okay if those guys are going off. He just wants to win.
And
he's a winner.
That's the number 1 wide receiver in the league for you. So,
back to the game.
Looking at our injury report, we got Fabian
Moreau.
Whatever.
He's been out. He's a break glass in case of emergency type guy. You put him in there if like 2 cornerbacks are injured. Or
And he's
winded.
questionable.
He's questionable.
And then Pat Jones, who is also questionable.
Dirty hit.
Thanks a lot, Tucker Kraft. I hope that
I will say.
I hope you step on a thumbtack.
Dang. I will say, Tucker Kraft, dirty hit, but I appreciate you for calling out Kirby Joseph. Much needed. The league needed to take attention to probably the dirtiest player in the league right now.
And then, we know our players on IR, J.J. McCarthy, Christian Darisaw, and then Taki Taimani.
Yep. J.J. McCarthy will be the quarterback next year.
Hopefully.
Mark my words.
That video's coming soon.
That
too,
video is
guys.
coming soon. Get ready, guys.
Don't-
That's going to be an intense one. Yeah, I know you're ready.
I've been writing notes on that one for a minute
I know
now.
you have. I picked the Vikings. I know it's very eerily similar to the 2-game skid we had earlier in the season. Lions and then Rams. But that was a short week, and that was a injury report cluster bleep by the Rams, which...
I'll say it. Cluster fuck.
No, there you go. I don't know. I get it. It's a Thursday night game. Still a little bit shady. I didn't like what the 49ers did with McCaffrey beginning of the year. I just think that, and same with J Love when he had that knee injury from the game in Brazil. I just think the league needs to create a better system. Pretty early on in the week if a guy's going to be able to go or not. And I think to help create the best product on field, you need to be having that knowledge be public for the benefit of the game and for the benefit of the guy. Because if they're trying to go, even if the training staff is pretty confident he can't go, that's going to only delay that injury and possibly re-aggravate it. So I think there needs to be an earlier designation for game time than just a couple hours before, because not only does it increase the product, but it also helps player safety. And if that's what the NFL is preaching, they're a bit hypocritical because they are not focusing on that.
Yeah, and even looking at Vikings last 5 games, Rams last 5 games, this is starting to push me towards the Vikings a little bit more.
There you go.
I won't even lie to you. They have one game, so their last game against the Seahawks scored 25 points.
But that was with
backups in.
That was backups and they were resting. They
Yes.
knew that they were getting 3 or 4.
I'm not taking anything away from that
that
loss because of that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That
yes.
is a
Stetson Bennett in at quarterback.
I thought it was Jimmy Garoppolo.
I think
Did
Stetson.
they split?
I think I'm pretty sure Stetson Bennett had at least 1 quarter's worth of.
I thought he was
snaps.
still in the player assistance program.
It shows how much I pay attention to teams other than
Love the mailman though. Love the mailman. Best George.
even Jimmy Garoppolo. Bro was good on the 49ers barely.
Best accoladed Georgia quarterback of all time. Stafford's the best quarterback of all time coming out of Georgia. They're on the same team.
They scored 13 points against the Cardinals for a win.
But how many did they allow?
9.
That defense has been humming lately, unfortunately.
They put up 19 on the Jets, also 9 points let up.
Exactly.
49ers, 12 points. 6
That was a
points let up.
depleted team.
And then the one thing that shocked me, I if I could have bet, I would have bet on Buffalo in this game.
Oh yeah.
I would have.
That was a great game though.
100%.
That was a great game. I watched that game.
They scored 44 points, but they let up 42 points. And then you look at the 49ers, the Jets, the Cardinals. Bottom of the barrel teams minus the Cardinals a little bit because they did decent this year.
I mean, we barely beat the Cardinals, but that was an awful game.
Yeah.
That was an awful game.
You let up 42 points. So you finally play a good offense and you let up 42 points, whereas you play the other 3 offenses where San Francisco's hurt. New York Jets have Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers, one of the best
Come to
quarterbacks.
Minnesota, finish the Brett Favre legacy.
No.
Finish the Brett Favre legacy.
Kevin O'Connell will shoot his plane down before he gets into Minnesota airspace. he is a culture guy, and Aaron Rodgers may be the worst culture player in league history. Maybe Mark Gastineau.
I had this conversation with another friend the other day, and they're like, if he comes here, the team's gonna fall apart.
Exactly. That's what he does.
I think it would be funny though if he finished the Brett Favre legacy.
He can sit on the practice squad. He
but
can sit on the practice squad.
You got
There you go.
You got the Vikings. Other than Sam Darnold's ghost game where we played the Lions, they put up 27, 27, 30, and 42. Like
that. Yeah.
If the defense can hold up for the first half and not let up a lot of points, which they did against Detroit.
They do that.
They did it good. They did a good
job. They played great for 3 quarters, and then the flow of the game just kind of let Detroit take over at that point. But
you know, all we needed was Sam Darnold to roll a touchdown.
If
we would have been
honestly, if Sam Darnold has a not even good game, slightly average game, Vikings win that, because that is a completely different game. Because then Detroit's playing from behind.
Yeah, we should have been up like 21.
You should have been
21-10 at halftime.
Sam Darnold missed at least 4 or 5 touchdown passes. Granted, some of them were on the same drive.
Also, I don't want to be the guy to be like, the refs screw us over all the time.
But you have to listen.
How is that not intentional grounding?
Carter, you have watched how many sports games with me? You know I despise refs.
Relatable.
But growing up playing sports, I always hated refs, but I also had the thing, the refs can't cost you the game, you have to play better. You have to play better than the refs ref.
Do you remember playing summer league softball? Because the refs can cost you the
game. Don't go there. Don't go there.
No, I don't know. I want to lean towards the Vikings, but realistically, I think the Rams take this one.
Listen, I think coaching wise, pretty damn close. Maybe you have a slight edge with McVay. Quarterbacks, pretty damn close. I know Darnold's seeing ghosts. Stafford's won a Super Bowl, but Stafford is much older. Honestly, I think he retires this year. And you want a little sneak preview for next video? I think Darnold goes to the Rams if Stafford retires. Similar system.
I honestly,
great quarterback coach.
It makes sense because it's like Kevin O'Connell literally came from the Rams.
And like he was talking with Shanahan and was like, if you get him here, he will do well. Quarterback friendly coaches recommending each other. They all talk, recommending quarterbacks to each other that they think will do well. And I think the Vikings defense is better than the Rams. I know the Rams have been locked down lately. They've played some pretty bad teams, and I know the Vikings offense is not near the Bills, but it's better than their last 5 opponents.
Yeah.
And I think they can. They can get out to an early lead and maintain.
Yeah, they're not.
It doesn't have to be a runaway. You just need to maintain.
They're not the Seahawks, the Cardinals, the Jets, or the 49ers. If Sam Darnold can figure his shit out, and play a good game, I think Vikings by 3 scores.
I don't think 3 scores. I think it's the playoffs. You can't get too fancy. You just maintain. I could see a 2 score. I could see a 2 score. 9-10 point win.
Rams defense. Like who's some notable guys? Like I can't even.
Jared Verse, Braden Fisk.
Jared Verse, solid guy.
God,
honestly.
Listen, I know Vikings fans have been upset that he went 1 pick after Dallas Turner. Dallas Turner is developing. You have a guy like Brian Flores developing. I would rather him have lesser stats this year.
It could not be him anymore, though.
I don't know. I think he's suing the league. I don't think he goes anywhere because the owners talk. He's suing the league. Like, right. I think he's great, and I think he coaches here 1 more year. Lawsuit gets settled, and then he goes elsewhere. But he also has. He's suing the league. He had a flame out. He burned bridges in Miami. Granted, he did a good job, and they fired him because he wouldn't lose games. But he burned bridges when he did that, which I would have done the exact same thing. Too much pride to do that. Burn bridges. And those Tua comments earlier this year. Quarterbacks are the sole focus of the league. There's not very many right situations for him where they had an offensive coach that didn't do well, an established good veteran quarterback that doesn't need developing and mentoring, and a team with a broke defense that needs transforming, like Brian Flores knows how to do. There aren't very many good situations like that. Like the Vikings, when they fired Zimmer and Spielman, they're not a train wreck organization at all. And that was the most desirable job in a job cycle that saw a third of the league needing coaches. That was the most desirable job. Like, that speaks volumes to this team. And like Brian Flores, you don't get strike 3. This is strike 2 if he fails. This is strike 2 and you do not get a strike 3. He has to be very choosy on where he goes.
Yeah. Predicting the rest of the playoffs.
All right.
So
I mean, I still have the Vikings. I know you don't.
Yep. We'll both have different predictions on that one, what would be the Lions game?
Yeah.
Chargers, Chiefs. The Chiefs are just ridiculous.
It's Andy Reid and Mahomes in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. It's Harbaugh, and I think if he gets to the divisional round, because when he came into San Fran, he revolutionized that team and that roster. This is a different team. It's the Chargers, and I can see them winning a playoff game, and I think that's phenomenal. That'd be far exceeding their expectations.
Yeah.
Even with a revolutionary guy like Harbaugh, I think one playoff win is a phenomenal building block to build on for next year and years prior. But he is a shelf life guy. I think he flames out in 5 years. And that's why I am very, very, very glad. Like, I love Harbaugh. Phenomenal coach. He can win you a Super Bowl. I'm glad we got a culture guy that has really no shelf life. And as long as he can win games and keep the locker room in check, I'm glad we got O'Connell, because I can also see him winning the Vikings a Super Bowl. Like,
please.
I love long-term stability in the NFL.
God.
Long-term stability in the NFL is so rare.
I need a Super Bowl trip in my lifetime.
Yes, exactly. I need a parade.
No, we don't even have to win it. I'd be okay with just seeing the Vikings in the Super Bowl.
I
don't even need a win.
I need a win.
But next, Alden said his piece about Chiefs, Chargers. I'm going to just say it's the Chiefs.
It's the Chiefs.
Whatever black magic that team has, you can say
whatever goats they sacrifice to Satan.
Yeah, you can say it's the refs or whatever. No, they're a good team. They're a well-rounded team. Patrick Mahomes.
Their defense is incredible.
Patrick Mahomes is having the worst season of his career, and they're still 15-2. There's nothing.
Granted, that defense is incredible with Spags behind the scenes.
But they should have lost. I personally think they should have. One miscue from anyone on that team, they should have lost every single game this season.
They could have. They very realistically could have. But the thing is, they didn't.
And so now they're gonna go to the Super Bowl. Not that I basically gave away the rest
thing
of my
is, though,
picks, but
it's Andy Reid. Arguably, slight hot take, I think he's better than Bill Belichick, because with quarterbacks other than Patrick Mahomes, he still has a phenomenal record. Belichick without Brady, not great. Granted, he got to the playoffs with Drew Bledsoe, but that was also a number 1 overall pick. And Don Shula, great coach, but that was a different era.
Andy Reid took Alex Smith
exactly
to the playoffs.
He took him to the playoffs multiple times. And Alex Smith, again, a number 1 overall pick, but that was after he had been cast aside by Jim Harbaugh. And I think that might be a little bit of revenge. Like, I did this with the quarterback that you threw aside. Watch me do this with probably the most talented quarterback to ever step foot on an NFL field.
I still take Brady over him right now.
Talent-wise.
Right now.
Talent-wise.
Fair. I'll give you that.
Talent-wise, I think it's between him and Rodgers as the most talented quarterbacks to ever step on the field.
And I will never mutter the words, Aaron Rodgers is the most talented quarterback to ever play in the NFL. I just did now. Last time I'll ever say that. Time I'll ever say that.
All right.
We got Baltimore and Buffalo. This one's a hard one to pick.
Yeah.
I won't lie to you. I think Josh Allen's got that swagger. I think that the Ravens go into Buffalo and they get stomped. I'm taking Buffalo over Baltimore, and I'll give a score prediction for this one. I think it's going to be 42-10. I really do. I think that Josh Allen has what it takes to make it to the conference championship. Don't think he has anything to get past that because he has to play the Chiefs.
The Chiefs and
But
kryptonite in the playoffs.
yeah, and even regardless of if I think the Ravens or the Bills go to that next round, the Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I have the Chiefs in the big game too. I do have the Bills winning. I do not have them stomping the Ravens.
I think
But I will say Bills are on just a different level than the Ravens. The Ravens, this is not the Ravens teams of the past few years where they have been like the number one seed in the AFC. This is a Ravens team that has taken a step back. I think John Harbaugh, I hate to say it, losing his fastball just a little bit, but they're a good team, and I think they'll keep it respectable, but I think the Bills are just on a different level this year than the Ravens. And I think the Ravens beat every other team probably in the AFC, yeah. But those two teams are on a complete different level, and I think in the postseason, the Chiefs just have it, man.
And I'll be honest with you, beginning of the year, I thought the Bills were going to be garbage. I'll put it on the screen. My predictions for this year. I'm pretty sure I had the Bills going 2-15 this season, or something close to that. Before the season even started,
with Diggs leaving, and
yeah, with him leaving and just not. They weren't completely sure of like.
But they went out and got Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
Who veteran presence in that room. Maybe not the most statistically effective when he got there. Like, he did good, but that presence is undeniable.
Yeah. And moving on to, for me it's Rams Lions. For you it would be Vikings Lions. And I think either way we're both taking the Lions here. You're not taking the Lions here. Here's the thing. Lions beat us twice this season. It would be at Detroit again. I just don't see it.
Has a team ever beat another team 3 times in the same year?
Probably not. Like
exactly.
I said,
it's damn hard.
You know me. I pay attention to Minnesota sports. That's it.
Yep.
Players' names, barely know any of them outside of the Minnesota sports.
Do you remember Tom Brady's Super Bowl run with the Bucks?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Beat the Commanders. The football team.
At the time.
Beat the Saints. And
Saints are cheeks. I will forever hate you for Bountygate.
Yep.
Anyways.
Again,
continue.
Butthole lips, Sean Payton. Pucker up, buddy. The Saints beat the Bucks twice in the regular season that year. Brady went out in the playoffs. Granted, it's Brady, and Darnold is not Brady.
Yeah, but
and O'Connell, not Bruce Arians yet. I think he can surpass him. I truly do.
I would just, I understand.
They stomped them.
I understand where you're coming from.
I don't think a team has ever beat a team 3 times in the same year.
What seed were the Bucks? What seed were the Saints?
Seed.
What seed were the Saints?
That I do not remember.
All right.
That's deep.
That's
deep in the bag.
Luckily, I'm looking. What year was this? 2021. Okay. 2021
NFL playoffs. Yeah, Rams. They beat the Rams in the playoffs.
Okay. They didn't even play the
That
Saints.
was 2020. 2020. Because that
this
was
clown.
the year that it took place.
This clown.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you got it?
I understand now.
Yep.
Okay, 2020 playoffs.
Yeah, it was 2021 on the calendar.
Okay. I was like, this guy's a bull. Just kidding. All right, we got New Orleans. Okay, 2 seed.
Beat them by 10.
Okay.
2 seed. Granted,
Okay.
Lions are the 1 seed.
Lions are the 1 seed, and New Orleans this season was what? 13.
Granted, they had to play a game before. They had to play the Bears.
That is true. They did not have a first
They didn't have a
round
bye. But
You know who did have the bye that year and then lost in the next round to Tampa Bay? The Green Bay Packers. Y'all are trash. Anyways, yeah, you guys have a Super Bowl. Ooh, yeah, hold on to that for the next 40 years, buddy. That's all I'm gonna hear
waste
from Packers fan every single
another elite talent at quarterback.
Yeah. Jordan
I love Jordan Love. I will say I don't think he's quite a Hall of Famer, but the balancing act between Rodgers and Brett Favre is hilarious.
So you have the Vikings going to the conference championship.
I do.
Okay.
I do.
I can respect it.
Because
I would love it. I have a bet with the kids at school that if we make it to the conference championship, I have to dye my hair.
Yeah. What color?
Pink, yellow, and purple.
There you go.
And if we win the Super Bowl, then I have to get a mohawk. So.
God, yes.
I would love.
Stay tuned.
I still would love that to happen.
No, I think it's Dan Campbell.
You don't think he can get that?
You had a 17-point lead in the NFC Championship game last year.
Hey, got me there.
And you didn't go to the Super Bowl.
But that's the NFC Championship. I feel like that's.
I think the injuries catch up to you. I think Dan Campbell's aggressiveness backfires, and I think if the Vikings win this game against the Rams, breaking that same skid that they had earlier in the season, I think it changes everything.
And no team has ever lost the same team 3 times in one season. So
Exactly.
So you got Vikings. I took the Lions no matter who they played.
Yeah.
Even I'm gonna be honest. Even if I took the Vikings in the opening round, I still would have taken the Lions here. I promise you. I promise you, Vikings fans. I am a Viking fan. I love the Vikings, but I'm trying to be realistic with myself, and I know what it's like.
I think realistically they can win a game. I think I'm being a slight homer with the upset pick against the Lions.
If I hope for it to happen, it's not going to happen. So you're all welcome for this Super Bowl win. All right, next we move on to Bucks Eagles. We're probably going to be different on this one too, but I'm taking the Bucks.
I'm taking the Bucks too.
Okay. Yeah, I think
Baker Mayfield is feisty.
He's like Josh Allen. He's got that swagger.
He's got the white boy swag.
And I don't think that there's any reason that this Bucks team that has been phenomenal this season. They've had
some skids. They've had some skids.
Their ups and downs, but I don't see any reason they don't beat the ball boy Sirianni and take it to the next round.
They were damn close to beating the Lions last year to go to the NFC Championship game, and this Eagles team is much worse than the Lions team last year.
I think Baker Mayfield throws for 450 yards. I think they tear up the Eagles defense. The defense isn't. I don't think they're as good as everyone makes them seem.
No.
Realistically,
no.
Like, when has 2 white guys in the backfield ever worked? Or not the backfield, but in the secondary ever worked? It hasn't. I've never seen it before. And you know what? It's been working good for them now. But y'all,
It's a house of cards. It's a house of cards.
Did they play the Bucs?
You never know when it's gonna fall. I will say.
Did the Eagles play the Bucs this year? They did, yeah. And the Bucs beat them 33-16. So, even more pushing that narrative. What did Baker throw for that? Please tell me he threw for like 400 yards. I'll lose my mind. I will lose my whole mind. There it was. Baker Mayfield, 347 yards and 2 touchdowns, 30 for 47. Bro's got that swagger. I don't know what to say about it. And even rushing, like Bucky Irving only rushed for 49 yards.
He wasn't being utilized. That was week 2?
Yeah, and this is week 4.
Granted.
Week 4.
Week 4. Oh. I was going to say, if it was week 2, they were coming back from Brazil. So
No. And Jalen Hurts, 18 for 30, 158 yards.
I got a hot take for you.
How hot is this? Is this whistle worthy?
This might be whistle worthy.
All right, let's hear it.
Baker Mayfield is in the bottom half of starting quarterbacks in the NFL.
Throw my red flag because that. Who are you putting above him?
Give me the list. Give me the list of starting quarterbacks, and I will tell you. Read them off. Can I give you my reasoning first, though?
Let's hear it, because I'm interested.
In the year that the Eagles went to the Super Bowl, very clearly second in MVP voting. 100%. Absolutely. He was the second best player in the league that year. Since then, NFL defenses and defensive coordinators have figured out his shtick. They figured out his shtick. He's not an accurate quarterback. He's not an accurate quarterback.
Well, and here's the thing, though. We don't even know he's going to play.
Okay.
We don't even know he plays.
If he plays, I still don't think he's in the... He very well may be 14, 15, 16. But he's nowhere near a top 10 quarterback.
All right.
He's okay. Wait. His shtick has been figured out. His tush push, finger up the asshole bit is great for the statistics. He's not an accurate quarterback. All he does is really run and scramble, and he has 2 good receivers that bail him out constantly. A.J. Brown was so pissed at him earlier this year that they weren't talking. And A.J. Brown played for the fucking Titans.
That doesn't make him a back quarterback.
He played for the
That
Titans.
doesn't make him a back quarterback.
He played for the Titans. He is not a good quarterback. Read him to me.
All right. Well, this one, the first few are going to be easy.
Okay.
He's below them. Like, I would never say he's not. Patrick Mahomes. So now that we're back. We went on a tangent about Jalen Hurts.
I had him well outside my top 10. Carter had him in...
Pretty close. I honestly do think I was pretty close to the top 10 with Jalen Hurts.
Yeah. I had him outside, but...
Anyways, so we got the Bucs beating the Eagles at the end of the day.
Can I give you a crazy take? If the Vikings play the Bucs in the NFC Championship game...
That's not a crazy take. I do think if they play
If they make it to the NFC Championship game against the Bucs, I think they get there.
I think they would win.
But it's damn hard to pick. It's damn hard to pick the Vikings over the Lions, and I think that's probably realistically I think that's where their season ends. But
I mean, crazy enough too.
I can absolutely see this Lions team is insane. I can see them being, if not the first, one of the only teams to beat a team 3 times in a single season. But I think if the Vikings beat the Lions to get there and they played the Eagles, I think they'd be playing in the Link, and I think the Eagles would go to the Super Bowl there. But if you make it against the Bucs, I think the Vikings go to the Super Bowl there.
Yep. So my conference championship is Bucs Lions. Yours is Bucs Vikings. And as you said,
I would be taking.
You would take the Vikings.
I would take the Vikings.
I would, if Bucs Lions play, I'm taking the Bucs.
Yeah.
Like, they already beat the Lions once this year. I think that
if Bake gets there, just imagine the ooze of swagger that white boy would have.
Hey, I love a good Baker Mayfield.
God, I'd be listening to Brain Stew and watching his college mixtape for hours before that game.
Bills Chiefs. I hate to say it, Bills. Chiefs are winning it. They're going to the Super Bowl. It's happening.
I mean, if
there's nothing.
Here's the thing. If I know
it's a close game.
I think it's a close game. I know this has been said for years, but if this is the true test, if the Bills can't get past the Chiefs this year, it's not happening. It's not happening.
And I would love nothing more for the Bills to beat the Chiefs and the Chiefs not be able to 3-peat. I just don't think it.
I can't see past it.
I can't root against the Chiefs because they're too good. It's unfortunate, but it's so.
And you can say, "Oh, they're not good. They're only playing one-score games."
Doesn't matter.
Good teams win. Good teams win.
I honestly think the Chiefs are just playing with their food. I think
They are.
They let the teams think that they're going to get a win. Now, I think against Denver, they got a little nervous when they went to kick that field goal at the end. But I think they let teams get close and make them think, oh, we're going to beat the Chiefs this weekend. And then they're like, let's shut that door.
Yeah.
My Super Bowl is Chiefs-Bucks.
Throwback to Tom Brady's run.
Mm-hmm. Yours is Chiefs-Vikings.
Throwback to what?
Once again,
Len Dawson.
Once again, would love to see that. Absolutely don't think it's going to happen.
Throwback to Len Dawson. Ripping cigs in the locker room.
And it's unfortunate.
Iconic photo.
It's unfortunate. But
Chiefs.
The Chief Pete
Yeah.
is bound to happen. If the Chiefs would have had the season that they should have had, where they lose more of those.
They'd be 16-1.
Those one score games. I think.
Oh, you have it going the other way.
I think if they lose more of those one score games, I don't even think they make the playoffs.
I think they would make it. It's Mahomes. And
I mean, yeah, but what? They almost blew it against Denver for sure. Because if Denver would have made that field goal, that was game.
That was game.
Can
we talk about the Denver Orange Crush jerseys? Best in the league.
Solid.
Best in the league.
The blue helmets too with the throwback logo are amazing.
Mint.
But yeah, the Chiefs are a juggernaut, and there's literally nothing you can do to stop them.
They
let the Broncos beat them so that the Bengals wouldn't make the playoffs, and you cannot.
That's how good MVP Joe Burrow. That's how good he is.
That you can't tell me any other way. There's no way they didn't let Denver win that game.
Yeah.
They didn't score a single point. I don't care if you have your backups in. It's the Denver Broncos.
It's Carson Wentz. That guy was a number 2 overall pick. I know injuries and everything.
Hey, close by, North Dakota, baby.
There we go.
Hey,
FCS National Champions. FCS National Champions.
At least it wasn't the University of North Dakota, because fuck them.
Okay.
But yeah, I honestly,
Huskies, baby.
I think there's nothing that anyone can do to stop the Chiefs. No matter who they play, if they play the Lions, they play the Bucks, they play the Eagles. You put them up against every single NFC North team that's in the playoffs. I think
there's no one that can outcoach Andy Reid, and there's no one that can do better than Mahomes in the playoffs.
They win. I think they win this Super Bowl no matter who they play.
Pretty much.
75 out of 25 times.
75 out of 25?
75 out of 100 times.
There you go. Yeah. Listen, I know I said I have the Vikings going to the Super Bowl. Realistically, I think their season ends in Detroit. I think they win against the Rams. I could also be proven very wrong with that, and Sean McVay comes out and coaches circles around Flores' defense.
The Rams at home. But if they play
but
in Arizona,
it's so okay. Say they play in SoFi, which I don't think is going to happen. SoFi is basically just a second home for every other team in the league.
Hey, your boy, what's the one guy's name? The Packer fan that's in like all the Adam Sandler movies, or Vikings fan that's in all the
Swartzen?
Yeah, Nick Swartzen. He'll be there.
He'll be there.
If it's
I think. Oh no, he won't. I saw a tweet. His some buddies that he's working on a movie with, they scheduled him for that Monday night game to work on a movie. And he's like, I don't know if they hate me or if they're protecting my mental health.
I mean, fair. I'm scared to watch that game.
Oh God.
That's
when the semester starts back up for me.
So Monday night, I got work in the morning. Otherwise, I would be at a bar watching that game.
Yeah. I don't have class the next day. I might have to.
But yeah, at the end of the day, Chiefs are your winners.
Chiefs are your winners.
The unfortunate news is I do think the Vikings lose to the Rams as well.
But I think if they move that game to Arizona, you've got Rams players that have been preparing to play at home. They've going to have their families there. They're going to be worried about their families and their homes and their livelihoods.
I think
in LA if they go to Arizona, because it's that bad that they need to go to Arizona, and I think their minds will be elsewhere. And I'm not saying that that's good or fair or anything. I think it's just an advantage for the Vikings.
I think that pushes the Rams players more, though. It's
you think so?
Yeah, I would use that as motivation, honestly.
But even if you go to Arizona, Arizona's not exactly a tough environment to play in either.
Mm-mm. Well, yeah, I don't know. I would love to see the Vikings win. I'd love to see the Vikings make it as far as you think they might make it.
I see a path. I chose the exact right path, but that's the
It's
path I
possible.
can see them getting to the Super Bowl.
It's definitely possible.
But I don't know. I think likely it ends in Detroit and we start ushering in the J.J. McCarthy era.
It's unfortunate. But as long as Sam Darnold's not here next year, I don't care what happens.
Here's the thing. Yeah, at the price that he's played himself into, you can't. Because everyone's saying, oh my God, he played at a close to MVP level. He's going to get votes. You have to do this. You can franchise tag him. Since Kwesi got here, he has been working to clear the books, get a rookie scale contract in at quarterback, and build the team. You can't do that if you keep Darnold here next year.
But I'm going to stop you there, because that's the next video.
There
Y'all
you
aren't
go.
getting any teasers. Get out of here. Losers.
Okay.
But anyways, I think that's it.
Yeah?
Like I said, Chiefs Pete is just an impossible thing
it's
to
inevitable.
avoid. And yeah, we'll see you on the next video.
There you go.
Let's fucking get it.